The State Department is urging Russia to negotiate the release of WNBA star Brittney Griner. Just yesterday, a court there in Russia denied the Houston native's appeal. For more on what's next for Griner, we're joined by ESPN investigative reporter TJ Quinn. Thanks for the time this afternoon.
Of course.
We mentioned the appeal yesterday was denied, barring now an agreement between the United States and Russia. Was this really her last chance to have her sentence reduced there?
Well, it wasn't legitimately a shot. I mean, anybody following the case who's versed in Russian law and Russian practice knew that there was as much a chance of a reduction in her sentence as there was an acquittal in her original trial. There was just no chance. She has been a political pawn from the beginning. The State Department made her officially declared her to be wrongfully detained back in May. So it was a chance, but the people I've spoken to in the U.S. government and around her understand that she was not going to come home because some court said, okay, we'll cut time off your sentence. It's going to be because somebody cuts a deal.
So what's next then for her? The penal colony, we're told, is what's next as far as the incarceration goes. Is there any indication now as to when that might happen, where she might end up?
Yeah, the question is, would she be moved there before a deal can be struck? There's still some optimism within the State Department, the White House, and again, her own support team, that Russia is waiting for the midterm elections November 8th to start to engage in a genuine good faith manner. Otherwise, the clock has started on moving her to a penal colony. She's been in a jail in Moscow since she was detained, which is the relatively more desirable option. The penal colonies are rough, and they know that. Her lawyers told me that it's not a quick process. It can be weeks or months. She's allowed to request where she can be. They think somewhere around Moscow where her lawyers are and can continue to visit her. But for the most part, Russian procedures don't matter so much. She is at the whim of their judicial system. She'll go when they decide.
She was there, of course, planning to play professionally in Russia. Has this situation, kind of bigger picture, has this changed kind of how other players now view playing there overseas in general, perhaps?
Oh, very much. There are not WNBA players going over at this point. They're still going to other countries. They can still make money in Turkey, in Israel, and other countries. Russia, they see, is now off the map. There are still U.S. men, not NBA players, but there are still U.S. men who are over there. But for the most part, Americans, it sounds like they've gotten the message. This is not a friendly place to play.
Finally, for all you've learned about this case over the last 250 days and others like it, are there any chances, is there a chance she'll serve the entire sentence there in Russia?
There's always a chance. From what you hear from the people who are involved, they still remain optimistic somewhat that something will happen. Russia seems motivated to get back one of the people the U.S. has offered, Victor Bout, who's serving 25-year sentence for supporting terrorism. The U.S. has indicated it is willing to trade him. They're willing to make a deal. So it's a question of, do they value getting these people back more than they value the political disruption that they're causing in the United States?
ESPN investigative reporter TJ Quinn, thank you so much for your time to join us here on KVUE this afternoon.
My pleasure. Thanks.